host, me, Elisa Garnes, and today we have in our virtual studio Dr. N. Jadika. Did I get it right?
Yes, you did.
Njideka. I mean you have to tell me, I guess, the meaning of your name and everything, because I know there's a meaning there. But welcome to this podcast. So good to have you.
Thank you so very much for having me as your guest today, and I'm looking forward to sharing information with your listeners.
Yes, I'm excited too because we're gonna talk about um, healing via touch. But before we get into it, right? Just a little bit of backstory. I don't like to do long bios anymore. So if there's anything that is important that you think that I left out, then feel free to add. But you are a leading expert in integrating traditional health practices with modern medicine. For those unfamiliar, can you briefly share what led you to focus on pain relief and also the power of touch?
Okay, put a long story short. The way I usually share my intro into what I do, it all started when I was a child. And as a child, I grew up on home remedies. And back then, doctors came to your home. And as a child, I saw the doctors. I said, "Oh, that's what I want to be when I grow up. I want to be a doctor." So by the time I got to college, I got a rude awakening that what I thought doctors were is not what I was going to learn to become. So I changed my career path and went into social work. And for the number of years I worked as a social worker, I covered the whole gambit, working from infants to seniors, every phase of social service that existed. But what concerned me was the fact that everybody was going to the emergency room whenever they had a health problem. I said, well, something's wrong with this picture. It's not right. And then the energy sparked back up again. I want to be a doctor. So at that time, the field was opening up to natural and alternative approaches. So then I went back to school and I got trained as a naturopathic practitioner. But before I was trained, I had already been trained in the skills of how to use reflexology. So I added reflexology as my expertise to my naturopathic practice. And from there, it evolved into doing reflexology as a practitioner and then just looking at the ways that it worked. But the secret to it all is I built my practice working with senior citizens. They were my first clientele. And with seniors, you have to have a special kind of fortitude to work with them because seniors have set ways in terms
Yeah,
of how they want
listen,
things, when they want it, and
you
how
don't
they
have
want
to
it.
tell me. You don't have. I feel like, and to be fair, right? I don't even mind them being like that because I feel like, yeah, you live long enough, you've been through it. Yes, yes. I think you get a certain age where you just say what's on your mind. You don't care anymore. You just like, yes, no, I don't like this. I don't like you. I don't like this. I'm out.
Seniors say, like, I paid my dues. But the reason to fast forward it, it was the seniors who laid the foundation for me in terms of the work that I do. And because I work with them, it my experience in reflexology and relieving pain with the power of touch all evolved because of the interactions that I had with them. And what happened, to fast forward it to what's where we are today, we just through because of the pandemic, and because right before the pandemic everybody was dealing with pain, and I had lost a lot of colleagues, some friends, and even some family members because of pain. And I started looking at it and I said, the missing piece is people are in pain, but they're in pain for a particular reason. And so then I started, studying and researching and applying. And I saw that one of the major things is understanding how to use the power of touch to relieve pain. And when I say power of touch, I'm talking about not just physical, because
Right.
touch is mental as well as physical, it's emotional and it's spiritual. And
Right.
all of that connects with healing. You have to
Right.
have all that in place for healing.
Right.
And people who suffer with pain,
Hmm.
the real corporate is the pain stress connection.
I was just
Pain
gonna
does
ask
not
you.
come without stress, and
Yeah.
stress does not come without pain.
How do
Those
these two
go
work
hand in hand.
together? Yeah. How do they work together? In the body.
I
What's the
like that
connection?
question. I love that question. And the reason why I say that is because stress is always something that's happening outside of your body that you bring inside. And
Okay.
when you internalize something from outside and it's not supposed to be inside your body, it's going to find a way to try to come out.
Right.
And because, say, for example, if you have a headache or you have a backache, and that's where you're feeling pain, but that's a result of stress you've brought in. And knowing that a headache or a backache is not a normal channel of elimination for releasing stress. So it turns into what's called pain. And that's pain trying to get out of your body via what area that may be weak. So that's how you incorporate pain and stress together as it relates to health problems. And eventually, if you don't deal with the stress, it winds up becoming something really serious. And one
Right.
thing that we have to understand is that pain does not happen overnight. It's a process. It's been building up. And I say that to say is okay, oh, I got this little ache here and oh, it's okay. I'll deal with it. I don't pay it any attention. Then the body says, okay, I'm coming back a little forceful. And you said, oh, that's a little bit uncomfortable, but I guess I can bear it. So the body says, you didn't respond that time. So now I'm coming back to you again, full force. And when it comes back full force, that's when you start seeking medical attention.
Right.
And
Right.
by the time you get to that point, it has turned into something else that becomes diagnosed as an illness.
Okay. Okay. I. Yep. I. When it comes to stress, and then you start feeling aches and pains, I think the older generation definitely did tell you that. Oh, you stressed out. Um. About something, and that's why you're having these pains, and even like these reoccurring pains um around the body, and they don't always manifest as headaches either. Like it might be like a shoulder or back pain or something, and you think, well, did I pull a muscle or something? Did I lift up something wrong? When like you said, it could be um just stress related. But in your experience, then why do so many people overlook the emotional and the mental role when it comes to chronic pain? Like, why do we say, like you said, oh, I got over that, or it's not that serious? Why do we overlook that? Why do many people overlook that in your
Well,
experience?
one of the things is most of us don't understand how our body operates. And when I talk to my clients, I always tell them, and I always use this example, we all have automobiles. And what we don't understand is that the automobile is designed as an exact replica of our body, it operates the same way. And when you talk about an automobile, you go buy an automobile and the salesperson will tell you, okay, in 6 months you need to take it for maintenance, you need to do this, you need to do that. And oh yes, I got to take care of my automobile. Or you're driving your car and all of a sudden the engine light comes on or you're hearing some clanking or something. Well, let me go to the mechanic to be about, finding out what's wrong. See, we focus on that,
Right.
not understanding that The same process that goes with the automobile is the same process that goes with our bodies. And so, a real problem as it relates to the question you asked about how come we don't connect the stress to the pain.
Mm-hmm.
The number one reason a person goes to the doctor is because they are in pain. And if you think of the medical field, and I always use this example when you talk about a business. When you go to a store, you know exactly what it is you want to buy, and you go and look for it and you buy it. That's what you want. When you go to your doctor, you take your body to the doctor like you do your automobile. Doctor, I have a pain in my back. I have a pain in my shoulder. And you want the doctor to do what? Relieve it like the mechanic would do with the automobile, because we're talking what? Mechanical operations. So they would automatically know what it is they have to do. What is the doctor going to tell you when you tell him that oh, I got a pain in my back, or I got a pain in my shoulder, or like, I'm feeling chest pains? First thing the doctor's going to say is, we need to do some tests.
Right.
And then it's going to say, until we get the tests back to find out what's going on, here's a prescription for your pain. But the doctor doesn't know what's causing the pain, or why you even have it. But you got a prescription. And what do? You take the prescription for the pain. And then what's happening now, while we're waiting for the results of the test to tell us what it is we have, we've created another problem because we went in there with pain. Now you're taking medication. So the body's now got to deal with some foreign substance coming down
Mm-hmm.
while you're in pain. So now the body is in overload, dealing with stress and dealing with a foreign substance that's entering your body. So when you look at all of that and you start talking about the stress pain connection, the key component to healing begins with one thing that's called touch. And I bet you can't imagine what that is. That's called listening.
Interesting. Uh-huh.
When you go to your doctor, the first thing that should be happening, the doctor should touch you by listening. When I see my clients, I listen to them. And the reason why I'm listening, because they're going to tell me everything related to why they're in pain. But the one thing I'm listening for is, what is that stress pain connection? Once I hear what the stress pain connection is, now I can move to what I call relieving pain first before treatment. First, I listen, and now I'm going to introduce reflexology as the technique to relieve the pain. Once I relieve the pain, you're now more open to, let's put together a treatment plan, which I call integrative approaches, because there's no one therapy that can do it all. It's a combination. So, what I'm going to look for now is, what can be the contributing? Do you need to see an acupuncturist? Do you need to see a chiropractor? Do we even need to go to exercise? Do we need to look at your diet? Do we need to look at, do you need some energy work? Do you need relaxation? You need to look at a combination of things that are contributors to why you're in pain. Because remember, pain and stress. You got to relieve the pain along with relieving the stress. So now you have what's called an optimum approach to relieving pain and stress using the power of touch.
Yes, using the power of touch and reflexology, especially in your write up that you sent, as an alternative in addressing the opioid epidemic. Can you talk a little bit about the opioid epidemic?
Opiates were specifically designed to relieve pain. So when you use opiates, what you're doing is you're numbing the nerve endings, you're numbing the nervous system. Your nerve endings are the communication center for the brain that delivers messages to all parts of the body. It's the command center. So let me kind of give you a better understanding of what that is.
Yes, please.
If you ever look at a, a chart of an anatomy chart of the nervous system, look at how the nerves, they all begin in your head and run straight through your body, ending in your hands and feet. That's the communication center. So if I'm going to take an opiate and it's going to numb the nerve so that I'm doing what? No longer feeling the pain. But guess what? The problem is still there.
Yeah.
When it wears off, what do I have? Pain again.
Again.
And
Yeah.
so then what do? Take
Take
some more
more.
medication to
Yeah.
numb the system.
Yes.
In that process, you have now created some serious other health problems because what? You cut off the communication between the brain via the nerve endings.
Right.
So, the reason why I incorporate the reflexology, because reflexology is the art and science of relieving nerve ending points found on the feet, hands, and ears to
Right.
relieve stress, relax the body, reduce toxins, and improve circulation.
Hmm.
Now, how does that work? So that your listeners will have a better understanding that applies to the opiates, which is the same that applies to reflexology. Look at, say, for example, inside your house, the electricity goes off and you'll just go to the circuit breaker and flip the switch and electricity comes back on. If it doesn't, then you call an electrician in, and what they're going to say, well, we got some wiring problems. We need to adjust the wiring, and then the electricity comes back on. With reflexology, we do the exact same thing. We are the electricians of the nervous system.
I love
So
that.
what we're looking for is, where's the blockage that's
Right.
causing the pain in the nerve endings. So what we're going to do, we're going to reflex that nerve ending point on the hands, feet, and ears to open up so we can get the circulation flowing. Messages is then flowing to the brain where to release the body's natural pain relievers for that
Right.
area known as endorphins. So
Right.
this is what we're talking about, how to use the body's natural pain relievers rather
Hmm.
than the quick fix, which is temporary and destructive to the body. So that's
Right.
the difference. And that's what we're looking at. And when you talk about reflexology, you're talking about something that's over 5,000 plus years old. So it's not anything that's new. It's been going on since the beginning of time. And to let you know this, everybody has done reflexology and they don't know that they've done it. Everybody has experienced reflexology, they don't know they have experienced it. And let me give you an example. If you are a parent, or if you can remember back when you were a child, there was a little activity called This Little Piggy.
Right. Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
did this little piggy on the
Uh-huh.
toes because all of the nerve endings to the head are in the toes and in your fingers. So when you were turning this little piggy went to the market, you're turning that big toe and then the next toe. You're activating the nerve endings in the head to release relaxation, to release calm. And so what the baby may do, may start laughing, the baby may start relaxing, may even go to sleep. But all of that happens through activating the nerve endings in the brain. So we've had the tools because the body is designed to heal itself
Right.
naturally.
Right. Okay. Okay. I love that though. So, what are some of the most surprising results for you that you've seen from your clients who chose reflexology, for instance, or touch therapy over medication? This was like the most surprising.
One that really touches me more than any experience that I've ever had is that I have a senior who used to always come to me, and she always brought her granddaughter. and her granddaughter would just sit there quietly and watch me do reflexology on her grandmother and her grandmother. And one day, her grandmother had her pressure went up real bad, and she was in a real serious state of hypertension. And her granddaughter at that time was only 10 years old. Her granddaughter grabbed her grandmother's hands and just started doing what she saw me doing. And she grabbed her grandmother's feet and started doing, what she called reflexing her grandmother's feet and hands. And so by the time the paramedic came to address the situation, her pressure had gone down.
Nice.
And that was because of the fact of the granddaughter may not know exactly what she was doing, but by reflexing and stimulating the nerve endings in her grandmother's hands and feet, sent the message to the brain, release endorphins to calm the body down, to relieve the body, to relax the body. And that's what happened. And as a result of that, this young lady, as I said again, how my seniors are my foundation, started me teaching young people between the ages of 10 and 18 how to do reflexology as a relieving stress, as well as introducing them to how they can have maintenance for their bodies. Because specifically right now, when you look at young people, they are under tremendous stress, and nobody is showing them how to relieve stress. We know how I can go get my hair done, I can get my nails done, I can go get a massage. We know different things that we can do, but we're not sharing that information with young people. And that's something that reflexology also offers.
Okay, okay. I mean, I feel like a lot of people are under stress, even older people under stress. I guess mainly maybe finances, because you aren't able to achieve what you wanted to achieve. Um, this time around, like how the former generation was able to achieve, like getting the house and the car, family, that kind of stuff. No, that just seems even lofty now to achieve in this day and age because the prices of everything. So like, I think that there's this level of stress that's coming up of you wanting to achieve these things that your foreparents were able to achieve, but not being able to get there, especially in the time that you wanna do it in. And I think that these goals and stuff put a tremendous amount of pressure and stress on, I guess, the millennials. I would say, to achieve these kind of goals because that's what shows what success is, right? So I do feel like there's a immense amount of maybe different kinds of stress, perhaps depending on the age
But
range.
I want to share something with you. The number one stress problem that's a contributor to all health problems is financial stress. Financial stress is and we don't talk about it. And the reason that we don't talk about financial stress and connecting it with health and wellness is because of how we feel about money.
Right.
We don't understand money. We have a lot of mixed emotions about money based upon our cultural
I
experiences.
was gonna say
And
even, yeah, the communities of color really when it
we're
comes.
traumatized. I mean, that's a major contributor to the trauma that affects us health wise. And when you think about it, because financial stress is the number one cause and contributor to health problems, we can't address that issue to get back on base to wellness, because you have to be healthy in order to be wealthy, and you have to be wealthy in order to have health.
Yeah.
The two go hand in hand, and that's not a part of our understanding of why we suffer like we suffer We suffer in health and we suffer in wealth. But it's your birthright to have both, and we don't understand that connection. That's another connection point. Pain and stress, health and wealth, mind, body, spirit. All of those connections are all intertwined in us being wealthy in every area of our life, personally and professionally.
But then how do you get over that? Because, many of our women might be listening saying, oh, well, I hear you, but, it doesn't pay the bills, right? I still thinking about that. This is still a big stressor in my life. Then how do I get past that in order to, achieve healing and our optimum health? Because in your mind, you're like, well, I got to keep going. I got to keep hustling. I got to keep trying to make sure that there's the financially healthy and that kind of thing. So how then do you get past that, even though you're not in the position of that kind of.
I like that question too, because you know what you're talking about? What I just said. It's mindset, it's how you think. And remember now, if we are conditioned to think that we're supposed to work hard for money, we've missed the point. Money is supposed to be working for you, not you working for money. When you are working for money, it puts you in the situation of what? Stress. Because you're stressed all the time. Because what? I have one, two, three jobs. I have all of these bills. The bills that you have are based on what? Not having enough income coming in to maintain a healthy lifestyle. And we don't seek out that kind of information, because really when you think about it, how many people even talk about that? How many, connections do you have that are related to that kind of wellness? Where is the financial healing industry? And I'm not talking about like, investing and all that. I'm talking about how do we heal ourselves financially? And the way you start is paying homage to your body, understanding that your body is a temple. And if you see it as a temple, it's sacred. And what are you going to do? You're going to do everything in your power to protect it. You're going to do everything you can to preserve it. If you see your body as a warehouse, what do? You store stuff in it. I may remember this, I may not, it doesn't matter. So if you're operating from a warehouse mindset, you're always going to have yourself in a health crisis. If you're operating from a temple mindset, then you're able to start cleaning out stuff. You're able to start making way to receive so that you're no longer in a stress situation that leads to a health problem. It's all about the mindset. It's That's where the seed is planted. And if we keep nurturing that seed of negativity, that seed of lack, that seed of illness, that seed of suffering, that seed of lack, and all of that, that's what maintains, that's what continues to grow. And that's operating from a warehouse mentality.
Well, I love that, I guess, point of view. um yeah, I love that. So I guess, what's one traditional, I guess, health practice you wish more people knew about or respected in mainstream wellness?
It's not so much one particular practice, but this is the one thing I would say to everyone: the one health experience that works for everybody 24/7 is a two-letter word. And that two-letter word is thank you. When
Mm.
you are able to wake up each morning saying thank you have planted the seed of cleansing, of healing, of wellness to travel with you throughout the day. And when you understand the power behind thank you, which is a touch which is a healing touch technique. And the way I can explain that is, think about when somebody is feeling down, the energy level is down, and all of a sudden you can come to them and say, "Are you feeling all right? Everything's going to be better." Through your words, you just touch them. Or if someone is like bouncing off the walls, real, had a lot of anxiety, real anxious about something, and all of a sudden you put your hand on their shoulder and it calms them down. Those are techniques that are empowering and they're very powerful. Um, if you live in an urban area and you're driving on the highway and you know you need to move over to another lane and you're trying to get in and nobody's letting you, and then somebody politely slows up, gives you enough room to move in, and then you raise your hand up to them in the form of saying thank you. You don't know what that did to them. That just touched them.
True.
That was something that they need that really made their day. Or you walking through a door and somebody holds the door open for you and you say thank you to them. These are healings. That's where you're talking about bringing that mind, body, spirit, and emotion connection together just with two words, which are healing. And if we get back to that and understand who we are as a people, we are a touching people. When you talk about stress, if you think about it, we're in more stress now because since the pandemic, we lost the ability to connect and touch with each other.
Ain't
We're
that
not
the truth?
touching. We're not touching each other anymore.
Ain't
And
that
by
the
us
truth?
not touching, we are starving. And when
Yeah.
you're starving, your energy is low.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening to us. When we can get back, then those are the seeds that start empowering us
Right.
to be able to take back control of our life from pain and stress. We've got to see the importance of touching. And like I say, not physically. And think about this. How often do we get on the phone and actually talk to somebody?
True. Not
That's so
anymore.
archaic. I mean, like, we don't talk to nobody.
Yeah.
And just for your ears to be able to hear a voice, not that you have to see them, but to hear the voice. That's healing.
Mm.
And we've lost all of that.
Yeah.
And some of the things of yesterday, I'm not saying we have to go back to everything of yesterday, but some of the things of yesterday for us is healing for us. And we've got to reconnect with that until we get to the point that we are stronger as we move forward into all of the new things that are happening right now. But we've got to get our strength back, and that's what we don't have. And by not having our strength is the corporate for all of the stress that we're going through right now.
So I guess what would be something that, I guess people who might have high stress jobs or, just feeling really high stressed, and feeling pain from that. What kind of, I guess, steps or something that they could do today or right now, to help start alleviate that without having to turn to pain medication, to numb the pain. What would you recommend?
One of the things that I will suggest is in terms of, I wrote the book Reflexology Today, a Family Affair, and it is designed to give you stress relieving and pain relieving techniques from infants to seniors for every kind of, like, health problem. Yeah. And that right there kind of makes it so now healing is what? A family project. That's why the book was designed. It's for families.
Right.
And when you look at it from that perspective, now what are we doing? We are helping and supporting each other through touch to be able to strengthen ourselves mentally, physically, and emotionally. And I can give you one little example is with your hands. In reflexology, we use our fingers. And what we use is our thumb, which is like this. We do like what's a walking technique with our thumb. And what I would suggest is like, whenever you are feeling stressed or anxious, you may not know the particular reflex point, but if you take your thumb and just start walking across the palm of your hand from the wrist all the way to the fingers, and just get in a habit whenever you're starting feeling anxious or stressed, just grab your palm and just start walking. Do it on both hands and do it on the palm and on the back. Start to, that right there will reactivate and start calming you down. So now you can get some clarity. And then remember to deep breathe. Breathe. And also drink water. Water and air and touch together is about a way of bringing calmness and soothing to the mind, the body, and the spirit. So just it's little basic techniques like that we can do as self-help tips, because we're going to, in addition to connecting with the power of touch, we're also going to have to take charge of being responsible for ourselves. We've got to go back to incorporating self help tips. How can you assist your body in healing itself? How can you work with your practitioner and assist you and the practitioner together are assisting the body in the healing process? So that's the whole concept that has to happen in order for us to
Mm.
get back to wellness again.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you for that. Anything you want to leave us with before we end? Because I do like that little technique. I guess for people who listening to podcasts, they will have to they'll have to watch the video to actually see the walking across the palm. Have to try that
One of the
technique.
things I would leave everybody with is understanding that no matter what your eyes are seeing right now, don't take it personally. Remember, it's something outside of your body and you're visualizing it, but don't take it personally. And I say that is because if we spend so much time listening to the news, listening to the media, listening to all of the drama that goes on 24/7, you block your healing. And if you want to stop blocking your healing, you got to say, okay, well, that's the news for today. Move on and look at what are some of the good things that are happening in your life. We've got to learn how to start seeing good sometime, because good does exist. Even if it's a small, minute thing, understand that the power to heal is within. And I leave everyone with these words: it is through the power of touch that heals all.
Aw, thank you for that. Njideka. Njideka.
Thank you.
And yes, if you're interested, you can find out more on focusonhealing.com. I believe you have all of your contact information and socials on there, even a number to reach you at if anybody needs your services. But thank you so much for your time and your wisdom.
One other thing I want to say, I
No
forgot to
problem.
share.
No problem.
I forgot to share this. Oh, how can I do this?
Oh boy.
There's an African proverb: when you visit someone's home for the first time, you bring a gift. And I have a gift for you and your listeners. I have put together a poster on relieving pain and stress,
Hmm.
medication free. And all you have to do is go to touchology, reflexology.com and download the poster. It's available for you. My gift to you for
Oh,
spending
thank
time
you.
with me to hear what I had to say.
Thank you. And I appreciate the time that you spent for sure. Those two words. Thank you. I appreciate it. You have an awesome, awesome day.
And you do the same.
Thank you for joining us on another Wellness and Growth Journeys podcast. Now, if you're inspired to elevate your health and wellness business, the Wellness Growth Agency is here to guide you. We specialize in tailored digital marketing strategies to enhance your client engagement, grow your practice, and improve overall satisfaction. Let's unlock the potential of your business together. Visit us at wellnessgrowthagency.com to learn more. And don't forget to subscribe to our podcast for more insightful episodes. Until next time, keep thriving and remember, wellness is a journey. Growth is the destination.